Back with another video, part 2 of this Serato Studio Diaries, where I'm gonna dig into the sample decks and what that's about. So when you click on new remix, it's going to open up with a large sample deck. This black area is called a sample deck. So you can drag your audio from your Serato library directly into this deck and you can chop it up and do whatever it is that you want with it. I'm gonna drag some audio into here. I don't wanna get any copyright strikes, so I'm gonna drag this in. I just want to focus on the sample deck for now and what you're looking at within the sample deck. To the far left, you have pad 1. So this is the entire audio section right here, which is number 1 on your Mac keyboard. I'm using the Mac. All right, so when you press number 1 key, the entire length of the audio is going to play. This is considered like a hot cue. All right, so that's where the song is going to start. So that's what that pad is. If you go to the top here, you'll see a play button, which is self-explanatory. You can also press return to play this audio. So you press return key on your Mac. You can also play the audio, or you can press play from here. These are your trigger icons. And right now it's on a gate trigger. So as long as I hold down the key, it's gonna play. If I switch it to the second icon, it's gonna play as long as it needs to play. And every time I hit the 1, it's gonna start from the start. Let me turn this down a little bit. Here you have your stem options where you can eliminate the vocals, you can eliminate the bass, you can eliminate the guitar, or you can eliminate the drums. Play the audio. There are no vocals on this track, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's eliminate the melody and see what happens. And here it is here. That's the melody eliminated. Let's eliminate the bass. Let's eliminate the drums. Nothing. Let's bring the drums back. Let's bring the bass back. Bring the melody back. All right. So that little section there is your stem section where you can eliminate the vocals, eliminate the melody, the bass, or the drums if that's what you choose to do. If you go further over to the right, you'll have your BPM section where it shows you your BPM, it shows you the key that you're in, and it shows you where you are time-wise within the track. To the right of that, you have your BPM sync. Now this section here is going to sync the BPM to the master tempo on the sample deck. So in other words, the original BPM of this track is 135, right? Let's change the BPM so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's raise it up to, let's bring it back. Let's raise it up to 150. So we just raised this up to 150 BPM. And the deck is synced, as you can see here. But if I unsync it, it's gonna go back to its original tempo, which is 135. Okay, so let's sync it. Oh, let me unsync it to show you this. You can also double time the beat. I brought it down. Brought it down again. Let's bring it back up. It's the original tempo. Or we can double time it up as well. That's what that is. All right, let's sync it back. Let's bring the BPM down. Here you have the key, where the key is actually synced to the master deck as well. So right now it's in the key of E. If we unsync it, we can switch it to whatever key we want here. D sharp minor, C sharp minor, C minor, B minor, and so forth, so on. All right, let's sync that back. here you have the mix section. So these two channel strips here, the one to the far right where it says mix audio 1, that's the entire track. So for instance, if we change the gain on this, it's going to change the gain of the entire track. The highs here. You can do the mids. Or the lows. Took the lows out. And you double click these to bring it back to default. You have a filter here. And you can pan it right, pan it left. Here you have the pad. So this channel strip here controls the pad of the sample here. And remember, these pads are hot cues. I'm gonna make this 1. So that's pad 1. That's pad 1 there. I'm gonna make this next one pad 2. This is pad 2 here. I'm gonna make this pad 2. Here, these little sections here, we have this little line here and it has a flag at the top. It has a flag here at the bottom. These are the actual start and ends of your cue point. The top is the start, the bottom one is the end, and you can drag this wherever you like. Okay, so I dragged it here because this is where I want the sample to stop. It's gonna stop there because that's where I drag the end flag to. If I drag the end flag further, it'll stop there. So this is pad 1. This is pad 2. So now pad 1, back to this channel here. This controls pad 1. So this controls hot cue 1. In other words, this is the gain for hot cue 1. This is the high for hot cue 1. This is the mids for hot cue 1. So forth and so on, all right? You get the drift. Let's bring those back to default. And if you hit pad 2, you can also control the same thing in pad 2. So basically whatever pad you're on, this is the channel selector for that. And this is your main volume for that pad as well. So in other words, you can have pad 2 volume here and pad 1 can be here. Or you can bring pad 1 down to the same volume as pad 2. Here you have your tempo for these hot cues. Same thing, you can double time it. Let's bring that back up. And you can bring it up as well. And then you can mess around with your key shift here. Two, 1, pad 2, pad 1, pad 2, pad 1. When you hover over the actual waveform here, this grid icon is going to pop up here. And basically what that is so that you can adjust your grid. Let's say the grid was off, you can adjust it here. This grid is on, but I'm just going to show you how this works real quick. So let's say the grid was off. You're going to come here, you're going to hit grid, and you can adjust your grid here. Let's say you wanted to move it to the 1. This is how you do it. You grab one of these lines here, these anchors, and you move it to the 1. You can also set the grid start here. So let's say you wanted the grid to start here. You hit set grid start. Then your grid will start there. And then you can move it as you please and set other grid marks as you see fit. You can also do it in increments here with the slip arrow, or you can do it here as well. And this is how you clear the whole grid and just start from scratch. This is also your metronome. When you're starting, when you're playing around with the grid and you're trying to get it on, this is the metronome only for your grid. You can also reverse the sample here. You've reversed it, and you can favorite your favorite cue points here. So let's say if you had all 8 of these filled and you didn't like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, you can just favorite 1 and favorite 2 and delete the rest and set a slicer for more cue points. Let me just show you how that works so you can see what it looks like. Let's delete that and let's delete this. So let's say, for instance, I like 8 and I like 6. I'm going to favorite that. And the rest, I'm going to select all and I'm going to delete. But it's going to save the ones that I favorited. And then you do it again. And it'll find different sections. And then you can go through that and you can favorite those. You want to delete it, of course, you unfavorite it. Then you can go ahead and delete it. So for instance, let's say I wanted to slice that entire sample into 8 sections, 4 sections rather. I just select 4 here and I hit set slicer. I don't use this feature. I like to set my own cue points because I know the songs. I know where I want the cue points to be. This is just basically Serato Studio setting your cue points for you. If you get lazy and you don't want to set your own cue points, you can just have Serato do it for you by using the set slicer feature. Put it on 8 beats. You can put it on 16 beats. And you see, as I turn up the beats, you'll see it slicing it in that time division. So let's bring it back down to 16 beats, 8 beats. They also have an endless slicer mode, and they have a Serato DJ part 2 where you can just use the cue points that you already have set in your Serato DJ setup. So that's what that set slicer is. Again, I don't use it, but it's there for you if you want to use it. So until next time, keep creating, stay awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.